At the hospital, during Dad's final hours, my brother changed the will. A senior partner from the room next door leaned in and whispered, "Let them think they won. My firm handles cases like this. Trust me. They'll regret every signature." And he was right. I'm sitting in the ICU waiting room, watching the fluorescent lights flicker, when my phone buzzes. It's my brother Marcus. "Don't bother coming back to the room. Dad's resting. We handled everything with the lawyer." Handled everything. Those words hit me like ice water. I'd been with Dad for 72 hours straight, only stepping out 20 minutes ago to grab coffee. 20 minutes. That's all it took. I sprint back down the hallway, my sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. When I push open the door to room 437, they're all there. Marcus, my stepmother Linda, and her daughter Jessica. And a man in an expensive suit I've never seen before, packing papers into a briefcase. What's going on? My voice comes out shakier than I want. Dad's asleep, the ventilator hissing softly. He looks so small in that bed, nothing like the man who built Anderson Construction from the ground up. "Nothing that concerns you anymore," Linda says, not even looking up from her phone. She's always been cold, but this is different. This is calculated. Marcus at least has the decency to look uncomfortable. "Look, Sophie, Dad made some changes to his estate plan. He wanted to make sure the business stays in capable hands." Capable hands? I've worked at Anderson Construction for 6 years. I run the entire project management division. Exactly. Jessica finally speaks, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "You're so busy with work. Dad didn't want to burden you with ownership responsibilities. This way, you can just focus on your little projects." My little projects. I've managed $40 million developments. But I swallow the anger because Dad is right there, unconscious, and I won't do this in front of him. The lawyer Marcus brought snaps his briefcase shut. "Everything's filed with the probate court. Mr. Anderson was very clear about his wishes." He hands me a business card. "You're welcome to contest it, of course, but I should warn you, Mr. Anderson's mental competency has been thoroughly documented by 3 independent physicians. 3 physicians I've never heard of. In the 3 days I've been here, managing Dad's care, coordinating with his actual doctors, no one mentioned any psychiatric evaluations." They file out, Linda actually humming under her breath. Jessica squeezes my shoulder as she passes. "Don't take it personally, Sophie. Family is complicated." I stand there alone with Dad, holding his hand, and that's when I hear it, a throat clearing from the doorway. I apologize for the intrusion. I'm in the room next door, handling my mother's affairs. The man is maybe 45, silver hair, sharp suit, but tired eyes that suggest he's been in this hospital as long as I have. I couldn't help but overhear. "That wasn't a legitimate estate attorney." "Excuse me?" "David Morrison. I'm a senior partner at Morrison & Chen. We specialize in estate litigation." He stays in the doorway, respectful of the space. "The man who just left? His name is Gerald Vance. He was disbarred in New York 3 years ago for fraudulent document preparation. He works exclusively with families trying to circumvent proper legal channels." The room tilts slightly. "How do you know that?" "Because I've faced him in court twice. Won both times." David pulls out his phone, shows me a bar association website with Gerald Vance's photo and a big red disbarred stamp. "Your brother hired someone to create legal documents that will never hold up in actual probate court. But by the time you figure that out and fight it, they'll have transferred assets, liquidated accounts, sold properties. The damage will be done." I look at Dad, at the machines keeping him alive. "The doctor said maybe 3 days. Maybe." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because 20 years ago, my siblings did the same thing to me when my father was dying. By the time I finished law school and knew enough to fight back, they'd burned through his entire estate." David's jaw tightens. "I built my practice on making sure it doesn't happen to others. But I'll be honest with you, Miss Anderson, you don't have much time. If your father passes in the next few days, they'll have a widow's claim, sibling rights, and manufactured documentation. You'll spend years in litigation and maybe get 20 cents on the dollar. So what do I do?" He looks at Dad, then back at me. "How well do you know your father's actual wishes?" "Better than anyone. We had dinner every Sunday. He told me last month he was updating his will to reflect my contributions to the company. He wanted me to take over as CEO when he retired next year. Did he put anything in writing? Emails? Texts? I pull out my phone, scroll through. He sent me an email 3 weeks ago. Says, met with Tom Chen today, your new partner per our discussion. Papers will be ready to sign next week. You've earned this, Sophie girl. That nickname makes my throat tight. David's eyes sharpen. Tom Chen is my partner. Your father came to our firm? He pulls out his own phone, makes a call. Tom, did you have a client named Anderson, construction company? Yes. And did he sign? He didn't. Appointment was when? His face darkens. The day he had the stroke. He lowers the phone. Your father had an appointment to sign a will leaving you controlling interest in Anderson Construction the same day he had a massive stroke in our parking lot. We called the ambulance. The documents were never executed. The pieces click together with horrible clarity. Dad's stroke wasn't at home like Linda claimed. It was at a law office, about to sign papers that would give me everything. They knew. I whisper. Linda went through his calendar. She knew what he was planning. Very likely. And the moment he was incapacitated, they moved fast. David glances at his watch. Miss Anderson, I'm going to be direct. My firm can help you, but you need to make a decision right now. Tonight, because tomorrow they'll start moving money. I don't have money for lawyers. Everything I have is tied up in company stock that apparently I don't own anymore. I'm not asking for money. I'm proposing a partnership. He finally steps into the room, but stays at a respectful distance. You know, construction, development, project management. You have the operational knowledge. We have the legal expertise and enough capital to fight this. We become partners in reclaiming and running Anderson Construction. 60-40 split in your favor, because it's your family's company. We handle the litigation. You handle the business. It's insane. I met this man 5 minutes ago. Why would you do this? Because I told you. My siblings destroyed my father's legacy. Anderson Construction has a 50-year reputation for quality and integrity. Your brother will drive it into the ground in 3 years chasing short-term profits. I've seen his type before. He pulls out a business card, sets it on the tray table. This isn't charity, miss. Anderson, it's business. A good business. But only if you act fast. I look at the card. At Dad. At the machines keeping him alive. What do I need to do? First, I need you to sign a power of attorney authorizing me to act on your behalf in estate matters. Tom is drawing it up now. Second, I need you to document everything. Your father's medical records, the timeline of his stroke, Linda's access to his calendar and email, Marcus's relationship with Gerald Vance. Third, we file an emergency injunction freezing all estate assets until proper probate can occur. They'll know I'm fighting back. They will. Which is why you can't be here when it happens. They'll pressure you, threaten you, maybe worse. Do you have somewhere you can stay? Someone who isn't connected to the family? I think of my college roommate, Emily, who lives in Portland. We haven't talked in months, but she'd help. Yes. Good. Go there tonight. Don't tell anyone where you're going. We'll handle the legal filings at 8 a.m. tomorrow. By the time they know what's happening, you'll be protected. My phone buzzes. Marcus again. Just so you know, we're moving Dad to hospice tomorrow. Doctors say he's not going to wake up. Linda thinks it's best if he's comfortable at the end. We'll handle the arrangements. Hospice, where they can control everything, where I won't have access. I look at David. If I do this, if I partner with your firm, what are the actual chances we win? With the evidence we can gather, and your father's clear intent documented in his email? 85%. But that's if we move now, tonight, before they transfer assets. Dad's hand is warm in mine. He built Anderson Construction with his bare hands, literally. Started as a carpenter, worked his way up to general contractor, then developer. He taught me how to read blueprints when I was 8, took me to job sites every weekend, told me the company would be mine someday. Let's do it. David nods once, crisp. Tom's on his way with the papers. Don't sign anything you don't understand. Read every word. I'll wait outside. He pauses at the door. Miss Anderson? What they did to you, to your father, it's not just unethical, it's elder abuse and fraud. We're not just getting your company back, we're making sure they face consequences. He leaves, and I'm alone with Dad again. The ventilator hisses. His chest rises and falls. I squeeze his hand. I got this, Dad. I promise. You didn't raise me to roll over. An hour later, I'm signing documents in the hospital cafeteria. Tom Chen is younger than David, maybe 35, with sharp eyes and the same tired look of someone who's been living in a hospital. His mother is 2 doors down from Dad, terminal lung cancer. These papers authorize Morrison and Chen to represent you in all matters related to your father's estate and Anderson construction, Tom explains, pointing to each section. This clause here protects you from personal liability if the injunction triggers any business disruptions. This one establishes our partnership terms, pending successful recovery of assets. I read every word. It's fair. More than fair. They're taking on all the financial risk. Why are you really doing this? I ask David, who's sitting across from me with a cup of terrible hospital coffee. He's quiet for a moment. When my father died, I was 23, broke, in my 2nd year of law school. My siblings convinced me to sign away my inheritance rights in exchange for them covering my tuition. Told me it was family helping family. I believed them. His jaw tightens. They paid for 1 semester, then cut me off. Said I was ungrateful for questioning how they were managing Dad's estate. I had to drop out, work for 3 years, then finish school at night. By the time I passed the bar, there was nothing left to fight for. I'm sorry. Don't be. It made me a better lawyer. But I swore that when I had the resources, I'd help people who were getting screwed the same way. You're not my first case like this, and you won't be the last. The difference is, you have operational knowledge of the business. We can't just reclaim the assets. We can make the company thrive. That's worth more than any legal fee. I sign the papers. What happens now? Tom closes the folder. Now, you leave. We file the injunction at 8 a.m. Your stepmother will probably try to access your father's accounts around 9. She'll discover they're frozen. By 10, her lawyer will be calling ours. By noon, there'll be an emergency court hearing. You cannot be present. You cannot answer their calls. You need to be unreachable. Where do I go? David slides a hotel keycard across the table. We keep a corporate suite at the Meridian downtown for clients who need to be off the grid. Fully stocked, internet, everything you need. Stay there tonight. Tomorrow, when the injunction is filed, take a flight somewhere they won't think to look. Visit a friend. Take a vacation. Just be gone for a week. It feels wrong, running. But I look at their faces and I understand. This isn't running. This is strategy. I book a flight to Portland on my phone. Emily responds to my text immediately. Oh my God, yes, come stay. I have a guest room and we're overdue for wine and catching up. At midnight, I go back to Dad's room one last time. Linda and Marcus are gone. It's just him and the machines. I hold his hand, kiss his forehead. I'm fighting for us, Dad. For everything you built. They think I'm weak because I'm quiet. They're going to learn the difference between quiet and weak. His fingers twitch slightly. Maybe reflex. Maybe he hears me. I choose to believe he hears me. A nurse comes in, checks his vitals, gives me a sympathetic smile. You should get some rest, honey. He's stable for now. I leave the hospital at 1 a.m. Drive to the Meridian. Collapse in the corporate suite that's nicer than my apartment. Set an alarm for 5 a.m. to catch my flight. But I don't sleep. I spend the night going through every email Dad ever sent me, every text, every voicemail, building a timeline of his intentions, his plans for the company, his relationship with me versus Marcus. The pattern is clear. Marcus was the golden child until he flunked out of college twice and got a DUI. Dad put him in the company hoping it would straighten him out. It didn't. Marcus treated it like a social club, schmoozing clients, playing golf, letting me handle the actual work. And I never complained, because I loved the work. Loved seeing projects go from blueprints to buildings. Loved solving problems, managing teams, bringing developments in under budget and ahead of schedule. At 5 a.m., my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Miss Anderson? This is Linda. I think we need to talk about your behavior last night. You were very rude to Jessica, and we're all grieving. This isn't the time for dramatics. It's starting. They know something's wrong. Linda, I have nothing to say to you. Now you listen here, young lady. Your father is dying, and this family needs to pull together. Whatever ideas you have about his will, you need to let them go. Marcus is going to run the company. That's final. We'll see what the probate court says about that. Silence. Then her voice goes cold. You're making a mistake. A very expensive mistake. We have lawyers who will crush you. You'll spend everything you have fighting this and lose anyway. Maybe. But at least I'll have tried. Goodbye, Linda. I hang up. Block her number. Block Marcus. Block Jessica. At the airport, going through security, my hands are shaking. Not from fear, from rage. How dare they? How dare they use Dad's dying body as a prop in their theft? Emily meets me at PDX with a huge hug and a sign that says, "Fugitive from injustice," that makes me laugh for the first time in days. "Okay, spill," she says as we drive to her house in Northeast Portland. "Your text said family drama and you need to disappear for a week." I'm imagining everything from witness protection to running away with a circus. I tell her everything. She listens, her jaw getting tighter with each detail. "They're monsters," she finally says. "Your dad is literally dying and they're forging wills?" "Not forging. Just using a disbarred lawyer to create documents that look legitimate but won't hold up in court. Technically different." "That's the same thing. Sophie, what do you need, besides wine and a place to crash?" "Honestly? Distraction. I can't think about this for the next week or I'll lose my mind. Tell me about your life, your job, that guy you were seeing." For the next few days, Emily keeps me busy. We hike in Forest Park, visit Powell's Books where I buy a dozen novels, go to breweries, watch terrible reality TV. She doesn't push me to talk about Dad or the company or any of it. But every morning, I wake up at 5 a.m. and check my email. Tom sends daily updates. Day 1. Injunction filed and granted. All Anderson construction accounts frozen. Linda retained separate counsel. Emergency hearing scheduled for Friday. Day 2. Discovery phase initiated. Subpoenas issued for all financial records. Gerald Vance officially notified he's being reported to the Bar Association for practicing law while disbarred. Day 3. Marcus attempted to access company operating account. Discovered freeze. Called Tom screaming about sabotage. Tom informed him the freeze was court-ordered and would remain until proper probate proceedings conclude. Day 4. Linda's lawyer withdrew from the case, citing conflict of interest, which Tom says probably means he looked at the evidence and realized he couldn't win. She's scrambling to find new representation. Day 5. Hospital called. Dad's condition declining rapidly. Tom says I don't have to go back, that it might make things harder legally, but I know I have to. I book a flight for that afternoon. Emily drives me to the airport. "You sure about this?" "He's my dad. I can't let him die with only them there. Call me if it gets bad. I'll fly down. Seriously." When I land, there's a text from David. "Linda filed an emergency restraining order claiming you're a danger to your father's health. Judge denied it, but she's trying everything. Tom will meet you at the hospital to ensure they can't bar you from the room." Tom's waiting in the ICU lobby when I arrive. "Ready?" We walk to Dad's room together. Linda is inside, along with Marcus and a new lawyer, a woman in her 50s with a face like a granite cliff. "You can't be here," Linda says immediately. "This is family only." "I am family," I say quietly. "I'm his daughter." "She has every legal right to be here," Tom says, his voice calm but firm. "As does your family, but if you attempt to bar her, I'll have security remove you instead." The new lawyer whispers something to Linda, who's gone red in the face. They leave, Marcus trailing behind them. And then it's just me and Dad. The machines are quieter now. The nurse explained they've reduced life support to comfort measures only. He's breathing on his own, sort of. But the breaths are shallow, irregular. I pull a chair close, take his hand. It's cooler than before. "Hey Dad, it's me, Sophie girl." My voice cracks. "I'm fighting for the company, just like you taught me. Don't worry about anything. I got this." His eyes flutter but don't open. The breaths get farther apart. I stay there all night, talking to him, reminding him of Sunday dinners, of job sites we visited, of the time I was 12 and tried to use a nail gun and nearly shot myself in the foot. He'd laughed so hard he couldn't breathe, then taught me the right way to do it. You made me strong, I whisper. You taught me that quality work speaks for itself, that integrity isn't negotiable, that family is supposed to lift you up, not tear you down. You were right about all of it. At 3 a.m., the breaths stop. The nurse checks for a pulse, shakes her head gently. I'm so sorry, honey. I sit there holding his hand as it slowly grows cold. Tom steps in, says something quiet to the nurse. She nods, leaves us alone. Do you want me to call anyone? Tom asks. No. Let them find out on their own. I stay until sunrise, until the hospital staff gently suggests I need to let them prepare the body. I kiss Dad's forehead one last time, tell him I love him, and walk out. Linda is in the hallway, eyes red. For a moment, I almost feel sorry for her. Then she speaks. I hope you're happy. You couldn't just let this go, could you? You had to make his last days a legal battle. The rage that's been simmering for days finally boils over. I made his last days a legal battle? You forged his will while he was unconscious. You hired a disbarred lawyer. You tried to steal the company he built from the ground up. It was never yours. You're not even his real daughter. You're just his kid from a first marriage he barely remembers. Tom steps between us. Mrs. Anderson, I strongly advise you to stop talking. Anything you say right now will be used in probate court. She glares at him, at me, then storms off. Marcus lingers for a moment, looking uncomfortable. Sophie, for what it's worth, I didn't know about the lawyer being disbarred. Linda handled all that. But you went along with it, Marcus. You knew Dad wanted me to have the company. He told you at Christmas dinner, remember? And you laughed, said I was welcome to the headaches. His face flushes. That was before I knew how much it was worth. The real estate portfolio alone is none of your concern anymore. Get out of my sight. He leaves. Tom puts a hand on my shoulder. You handled that well. No threats, no promises, just facts. Good. The probate hearing is 3 weeks later. Linda's third lawyer in a row stands before the judge, arguing that the email from Dad about making me his partner isn't legally binding, that his earlier will, leaving everything split between Marcus and me, should stand. David dismantles this calmly. Your Honor, we're not disputing the earlier will's validity. We're disputing the documents filed by Gerald Vance, a disbarred attorney, claiming to represent the deceased's final wishes. Those documents are fraudulent. Meanwhile, we have clear evidence of the deceased's intent to transfer controlling interest to Miss Sophie Anderson, evidenced by his appointment with our firm and his written communication to her. Tom adds, furthermore, Your Honor, we've subpoenaed Mrs. Linda Anderson's phone records. On the morning of the deceased's stroke, she received a calendar notification about his appointment at Morrison & Chen. Within 15 minutes, she called Gerald Vance. Within 2 hours of the deceased being admitted to the hospital, she'd met with Mr. Vance to discuss estate planning options. This wasn't grief. This was premeditation. The judge reviews the evidence, the emails, the phone records, Gerald Vance's disbarment papers, Dad's medical records showing he was mentally competent up until the stroke. It's clear to this court, the judge finally says, that the documents submitted by Gerald Vance are invalid. Furthermore, there's substantial evidence of attempted fraud and elder abuse. I'm awarding controlling interest in Anderson Construction to Sophie Anderson per the deceased's documented wishes. Mrs. Linda Anderson and Marcus Anderson will retain their shares from the earlier will, but Miss Sophie Anderson will serve as CEO with full operational authority. Linda makes a sound like a wounded animal. Her lawyer puts a hand on her arm. Additionally, the judge continues, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for potential criminal prosecution of Gerald Vance and any co-conspirators. It's over. I won. Outside the courthouse, David shakes my hand. Congratulations, Miss Anderson. You're now the majority owner and CEO of Anderson Construction. The weight of it hits me. The company is mine. All of it. The responsibility, the employees, the projects, the legacy. What do I do now? Now? Tom grins. Now you run the hell out of it. Show them what your father saw in you. The first board meeting is brutal. Marcus shows up with lawyers, challenges every decision, demands full financial disclosure. I give it to him. Every spreadsheet, every contract, every expense report. As you can see, I say calmly, the company is financially sound. Project pipeline is strong. Client satisfaction is at 92%. The only weak point is administrative overhead, which I'm addressing by eliminating redundant positions. Redundant positions? Marcus's face goes white. You can't fire me. I'm family. You're a shareholder with a minority stake. You're not an employee unless you provide value. And Marcus, in 6 years, what value have you provided? He sputters. The other board members, all Dad's old friends, look away uncomfortably. Here's what I'm offering, I continue. I'll buy out your shares at fair market value. You walk away with $7.3 million. Or you can stay, take a real position with real responsibilities and a salary commensurate with your actual contributions, which I estimate at around $60,000 a year based on market rates for your skill set. The room is silent. $7 million now, or $60,000 a year, I repeat. Your choice. He takes the buyout. Linda, vindictive to the end, holds onto her shares just to be difficult. But she has no operational control, no say in how I run things. 6 months later, I'm in a project meeting when my assistant interrupts. Miss Anderson, Mr. Morrison is here to see you. David steps into my office, looking around at the blueprints covering every wall. Impressive. I heard you landed the Riverside development contract. That's huge. Biggest project in company history, $42 million. I can't keep the pride out of my voice. We broke ground last week. That's actually why I'm here. Morrison & Chen is expanding, looking to invest in real estate development. We're particularly interested in sustainable urban housing. He sets a folder on my desk. I'm proposing we formalize our partnership. Not just legal representation, but actual development partnerships. We provide capital and legal expertise. You provide operational knowledge and execution. I open the folder. The terms are generous. More than generous. You're serious about this? I told you. Good business. You've proven you can run Anderson Construction successfully. Now let's see what we can build together. Pun intended. I think about Dad. About Sunday dinners and job sites and blueprints on the kitchen table. About his email. You've earned this, Sophie girl. Let's do it. Over the next year, Morrison & Chen and Anderson Construction complete 3 joint developments. Affordable housing in underserved neighborhoods. Green buildings with solar panels and rainwater collection. Projects that make money and make a difference. Linda sells her shares finally, when she realizes I'm never going to fail, never going to give her the satisfaction of watching the company collapse. She moves to Arizona. I never hear from her again. Marcus blows through his $7 million in 2 years, last I heard. Apparently he invested in a cryptocurrency scheme that went bust. He called me once, asking for money. I hung up. On the anniversary of Dad's death, I visit his grave. Place flowers. Tell him about the Riverside project finishing ahead of schedule and under budget. I miss you, I say quietly, but I think you'd be proud of what we're building. Not just buildings, a legacy that matters. My phone buzzes. David, emergency board meeting in an hour. We just got approached about a stadium renovation project. $200 million. Biggest contract either of our firms has ever seen. You in? I look at Dad's headstone. Robert Anderson, beloved father, master builder, man of integrity. I'm in, I text back. Because this isn't about revenge anymore. It never really was. It was about honoring what Dad built, what he believed in, what he taught me. They thought leaving me stranded would break me. They thought I'd crumble without the family support. They thought I'd sign away my rights for peace. Instead, they gave me clarity. They showed me exactly who they were. And in trying to take everything, they lost the only thing that mattered. The chance to be part of something meaningful. I built a better family. David and Tom, who believed in me when my blood family didn't. Emily, who gave me a place to land when I needed it. The employees at Anderson Construction who work hard because they know I respect them. And I built a legacy. Not just for Dad, but for myself. That's the real inheritance. Not money or buildings or company shares. It's knowing who you are, what you stand for, and having the courage to fight for it. 2 years after Dad's death, Anderson Construction is featured in Architectural Digest for our sustainable development practices. I'm on the cover, standing in front of the Riverside complex, wearing Dad's old hard hat. The interviewer asks, "What would your father think of what you've accomplished?" I smile. He'd say, "I earned it." And he'd be right.